What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Be More. My name is Tachi, and once again, I have a guest for you. It's a guest that's a friend to the show. We're going to have Shawanna Kennedy right after this, so stay tuned.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire.
Okay, let's not even play. You're already used to who Shawanna is, and if you're not, it's going to be a treat for you for your first time. Shawanna Kennedy, welcome in.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Dr. Tachi. I'm excited about this conversation today. Hello to you, and you. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Well, first of all, there's a lot of things happening in the world, in particular also in the world of media. And I think we're just going to pick a few things and start to talk about them, right? But first, real quick introduction from you.
I'm Shawanna Kennedy, and I get to serve as the video productions director for Kennedy Media, where we help individuals, entrepreneurs, business owners to be seen, heard, and if you're lucky enough to be paid with what you get to do by creating more video visibility. So I'm excited about that and helping you understand the importance of what that means to show up online, because if they don't know you, they don't know you.
I love that you said you get to do this. I think that's important because it is a privilege and an honor for us to do what we do, and it's not lost on us. So I love that you said that.
I mean it. I really do. I mean, because people, there's a number of things, and as we see in some of this conversation, when you think about media, there's a lot of places that you can be, but when people choose to do business with you, whether they're sponsoring you or whatever, it's a privilege. It's a privilege, and I do not take it lightly from anyone that has been and is currently my client. Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll give all the contact information for Shawanna at the end, but for now, we're going to get into some conversation. And this is a Be More moment, but it's longer than a moment. That's where we kind of, talk about some things that are media related, and then we bring it back home to what that means for us as content creators and media creators. Tabitha Brown. Not just Tabitha Brown, though. Yeah. I use her as an example because she is a public figure that is really well known, right? So what happened earlier, and not even earlier this week, this was like, 2 weeks ago now, I think, that there are companies that are rolling back their DEI initiatives, which leads me to believe you didn't want to do that anyway, but that's another show altogether. But I have to tell the truth and shame the devil. So in any case, they're rolling back their DEI initiatives, and this leaves creators, businesses, I should say, that are Black, and this is what we're going to say here. I don't like the word minority. There's nothing minor about us. We are actually the global majority. So it leaves global majority businesses in kind of a limbo, because you may or may not have a contract with them that runs out. It may be a one-off thing. You may have a long-standing contract with them. But now that, for example, Target, where Tabitha Brown has her product line, is rolling back DEI initiatives, this leaves vendors that are in Target in a particular spot, a rough spot, I should say. And so what's had to happen is many have come on social media, have been in media, have maybe made statements, but primarily I've seen on social media where some of these vendors, particularly, and I'm speaking in particular about the Black vendors, have come on and talked about this whole thing. Lots of different things, but the reason I say Tabitha Brown is because she's probably the most well-known, because she is the face of the brand. She's already known, and she is the face of the brand. Some of the other brands that are in there, you probably would not know who they are, except for them coming and saying, I am the founder of XYZ brand, right? You may not know them as a household name, but people know Tabitha Brown. So she initially came on her social media and was talking about, first she did that grape eating video. Do you remember? Where she was just eating grapes and saying nothing, but the eyes said everything. The eyes and the facial expression said everything.
The eyes have it.
The eyes have it. But then she followed up with an actual message of how she felt about the situation. There have been other messages she's put out since then, but the initial one was essentially saying, in terms of, because there are calls for a boycott, right? On social media, in fact, they have organized one. So she essentially said initially that if you do something like boycott, that it will affect the Black-owned brands and actually not just Black-owned brands, the brands of people of color or the global majority in general will be affected by the boycott. So of course, I'm like, well, let me look to see what people have to say about that. Now, I'm not saying that it is not true. Obviously, whenever you take any action of this type, there will be effects. And some of the effects are we won't be shopping there, and therefore we won't be shopping those brands inside those stores, right? But that, you know what? Before I go on, I'm going to let you get in. Thoughts?
You know, it is, for me, it's a mixed bag, because when you're a person that have a product or a service, I have to even go back to, like you said, when you're the face of your brand, that really does mean something. And with her being one of the people who is well known, they saw it as a way to open doors. So they even was probably looking and listening to see if she was going to say something on it. Had she not said anything, I think it would have raised some type of suspicion with individuals. So we know with this whole conversation across the whole DEI aspect of everything, it's pros and cons to it all. It's pros and cons to it all. And I know I can't wait for us to really get in there, because when I think about some of it, like I said, it shows collaboration. When we think about media, collaboration is huge. So like, I don't want to, go ahead of whatever it is that the way we're about to take this conversation, but I think about, and when we think about our business, who are you as a brand? Are you the face of your brand? What does that mean if something happens because you are the face? Then how does it affect everything?
Yes.
What does that mean? You're the face. Like I am the face. I'm the face of my brand, of my business currently, right? I don't want it to always be that way. But again, in order for people to know who you are, the business, the product, the service, they have to then see you so they can say, well, I want to know more about what he or she may be doing. And in this case, because she's doing a lot. She has a book, she has seasonings, everything. She's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it does put a lot of light on her, so people would have been listening, because she's known for her authenticity. She's known for her realness, her coming in close, her letting you see a little bit behind the scenes, bringing into the family aspect of it. So people were more apt to say, well, what does she have to say on the subject? And exactly. So that's why it's mixed. It's mixed for me.
Exactly. And this is interesting, because where Shawanna Kennedy of Kennedy Media is the face of the brand, it's named after you. For Indie Soup Media and for Mediascope, I am not the face of the brand per se. People know me that, oh, okay, she's the host of Mediascope. She is the founder of Indie Soup Media. But for some people, like if I say Indie Soup Media, people may not even know it's me. So I specifically chose not to be the face of the brand just because that's the way I chose. Now, it's not wrong, folks, either way you choose to do it. But no, just like with Tabitha Brown, it's named after her line and things are named after her. She is the face of her brand. So if something goes wrong, people are looking at her for answers. That is something that you have to think about. So it's not wrong either way, but you have to be prepared for the onslaught to answer for things that when they go right and when they go wrong. So you have to be prepared. So that's something to think about. So thank you for bringing up the branding aspect of that, Shawanna. So when she said the whole discourse, she gave the whole discourse about if we don't shop there, then that affects the brands that are vendors in, and we're speaking specifically in Target. I don't know about you, but I felt an interesting type of way when it came to this, because what it felt like, and I'm sure this was not her intention, but again, I'm a communication professor. So not only do I do media, but I'm also a communication generalist. I've studied human communication forever. So even if you did not intend for it to sound like well, I'm concerned about me and my family. Don't stop shopping here because then we won't get paid. That's what it sounded like to a lot of people. And I feel like before and I knew that's probably not I know that's not her intent, but because she may not have, let me take a step back for a moment and craft my message in a way where people will understand that it is about the collective. I'm not just thinking about me. I'm not.
Yeah, but you know what? I have to. What happens to when you are that big?
Yeah.
Where is the PR person? That's where you do have that team, and that's when we think about media. When we think about, I'm just saying because
but okay. So what you're saying though, see, we have to remember that some of these people now that are quote influencers that got big on social media, they may have teams and things now. They may have PR now, but some of them that are big, some of them still don't have managers or management. Some of them still don't have publicists. So they'll come out and speak for the brand without regard or thought to how the message is going to affect other people. So we have to remember these are not the traditional, quote, Hollywood industry folks that before they open their mouths, there's some publicist or some PR person there like, okay, now this is what we're going to say. This is a whole new age of media and a whole new age of crafting mediated messages. So now you're used to coming on and speaking to us. So guess what? I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to come on and speak to you. But now other things are involved. And it feels like when she said that initially, she was just coming on as Tab, as people like to call her, but not thinking about the far-reaching repercussions for business that had. Because at the end of the day, of course, you want to support people that are on the side of right. We don't just support everyone, but you want to support people that are on the side of right, people that align with your values, your goals, your missions. And so when you're doing that, you have to remember that if you are a business owner, if you are a content creator, you only exist because of the audience or the customers.
And you know what? To that, she did know what she was doing. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Listen, I'm trying to give benefit of doubt.
No, maybe she would have wanted to maybe curate maybe a few words differently, but because of her forward-facing, I can come on in the middle of the night, stirring something, cooking something right before I go to bed. It was really, I believe, genuinely like, hey, y'all, I know all of this is going on, but please don't stop shopping there. And in that moment, it was because at the end of the day, she's not just doing it because she loved what she do. The benefit of it, and that's what I say for us, is that, oh my God, and we get paid to do this. So she's like, no, don't hurt me, please. Just because this is going on, please don't stop. That's what she meant.
But it was, see, when you say it like that, and I know that's what she meant, but then it just becomes about you. So what you're asking me now to do is sell out everybody else, because let's be clear, for even if there are, I'm going to be very generous here because I don't think this is the case. Even if there are 200 vendors that are Black or 200 vendors that are Black and people of color in Target, that's not everybody. Let's just go with people of African descent, right? So even if there are 200 vendors of African descent there, do you know how many other businesses of African descent there are that are not in Target? So what you've effectively asked me to do is to sell everybody else out to continue to support the few. Sell out the many for the few. That's what the message came across as. And if that's not what was meant, I'm sorry, that's the way it was received. And I think she realized after the fact that
I agree, but it's like she would still, I believe she still would have said something because of who she is. She's still in some way to be like, hey, people, I get it. Because there is money that's going to be lost here. It really is. It's money. It's already being lost right now. And she just doesn't be one of the first to say, hey, don't hurt me, right? Don't hurt me.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just have to take an L. I'm sorry. When it comes to something this important where masses are going to be affected, and that's part of the problem, and this is not the venue that we're going to discuss this, but part of the problem with now is we become so comfortable in convenience that if something does, or they could, They could call you a monkey's uncle or whatever. You'll still go there because it's too convenient for you not to go there. And then when we have people who are vendors in there begging us to do, and let me just be clear, not everyone who is in there is okay with it. Some are like, well, I'm pulling my things. Some are like, well, when this this runs out, I won't be, because let's be clear. You talked about the fact that that messaging and her being in there is sending a message that I'm trying to open the door for other vendors to be in here. Yeah, but it follows that the entity has to want you in there in the first place. So I'm not saying that they have not done quite a bit with vendors of color and during like different heritage months that they haven't done. I'm not saying that at all. But the thing is it genuine? Or is it just because it's good business and that's what you care about, the bottom line? So now when you feed into that by saying, please don't stop shopping there, because then damn the we, I don't care. What I care about is that you're asking me to sacrifice the masses for the few, and I'm not going to do that. Now, let me also say, I am not lambasting you if you choose to continue to shop there. We realize that there are some places where Walmart is the only option. Very, very seldom is Target the only option. Like
you know what, I even recently said that as it relates to Target. When I think about different people like Tabitha and some other, makeup, and even let's go with some youth entrepreneurs, right? There's some entrepreneurs that are in there. Let's just be real. For me, for Target, do I like Target? Sure. But was I a person that said, oh my God, I'm going to die if it closed today? I was not one of those people, if I'm just being frank and being honest. Target is okay for me. I would typically only even shop there if it was in support of someone, a person of color, right? To go and support them. I never was a person that, they have nice quality stuff, but I never believed the hype as it related to our Target as well. Anyway, I just didn't. So for me, it's not about saying, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to shop at my favorite store anymore. It's me thinking about us as a culture, us as people. What does that look like? Because everyone can't just go run and do e-commerce, right? That's not feasible financially for some people to say, oh, now go shop at my online store. Now, are they thinking about those things now? They sure are. No different than when the pandemic, and it forced people to then find other ways for them to be seen and to be heard online. And so by this, I do believe the worst of times for some is still the best of times for others. So I believe this is still an opportunity for a lot of us to even still rise to the top. We say the cream rise to the top. And we've done it before and we're gonna do it again. That is my belief. And we have to look tight or not, hold on a little tighter, continue to surround ourselves with people who get it, like-minded people who understand what we're doing, what we're going through. And we said it earlier, talking about collaboration, more so than now than ever before. Brands are going to have to find how we can influence together and collaborate together. That's what we're being forced to do, things together. We are greater together. So this is just another something for us to then be able to show up and show out the way we've always done for the last 300-400 years. Hello, come on, people, come on.
Show up and show out together. And the thing is, it's unfortunate that it takes something this dire that you have to be in dire straits before you know what? Why don't we do something together? I'm sorry.
But it does. It takes the shakeup. It takes the shakeup for us to do something different, because
shakeup. But that's why we're never in a position better than what we've ever been, because we have to be reminded that things are not okay, and we have to I forgot we can do this online again. Both of us, and I do hear what we're saying, and I'm sympathetic on all sides, because this is something that nobody expected. I get it, but see, we're not talking as non-business owners. We are small business owners as well, right? Several businesses between us.
Hello.
So I'm just going to say, I don't want to hear it. I'm a business owner too, and I understand, and I know I don't have things in Target. I'm not saying that, but I don't have things in a big box store, but that's never been my MO anyway. Yeah. That's never been the way that I wanted to go anyway. So you also have less control when you are collaborating in that way with a big box store or some other entity. So it can be a wonderful thing, but then you're also at the mercy of people. And that's when things like this happen. So yeah, okay, that's nice, but I really don't want to hear it. That doesn't mean that the issue doesn't exist. We know it's expensive to house your own inventory. We know shipping is a big thing. We know, because again, there's more than just you all who are in these big box stores that exist as small businesses. So that's where I take issue, that the only, guess what? And let me say this too. The other reason things like this happens is we're both in media. So usually what happens when someone comes up with an idea, when someone wants to write a script, what's the first thing they do besides protecting it and all of that? They start shopping it to the big entities, because to them, that's all that matters. When I keep saying this, keep wasting, I shouldn't say it's a waste of time, but keep spending an inordinate amount of time pitching to people who don't want you anyway. Because if they don't know you, they don't want you. And I'm just being honest.
That's good. But this is where, even for, I understand, and at the end, in the beginning of the day, for a lot of the businesses, it is about the bottom line.
Yes.
Where it really does tear me is that even if I understand that it's business, right? At the end of the day, don't take it personal. It's all business. We all know, if you're in business, you've heard it before, and you may have been one of the ones to say that. Nothing against you. This is strictly business. What has rubbed me even more so is that even if they still seeing this as an opportunity to make money or to decrease something, I just don't like how it automatically just ripped it. That's really what tore it for me, is because when the order came down that this is what was happening across the board, right? It's like immediately we're taking it down. It wasn't even done in stages. And so, Dr. Tachi, that's where I have issue, is that you could at least did it in some stages. It wasn't, people could appreciate that, to let you know that it is happening. Second quarter, it's happening. You click the switch and said, okay, I turned on the lights and everybody out. Turn off the music, get out.
Do you see my face?
Yeah, I know.
They don't feel the need to give you any warning. No, they're not going to give you any warning. That's why you can't rely on them to be.
This is true. This is actually true.
Plan B. What if tomorrow, God forbid, all those stores, were hit by a tornado and they just.
It's the sustainability. And that's what happens when we put all eggs in one basket.
And thank you very much.
All the eggs in one basket, we're looking for the sustainability in a bigger place, and still saying, let me make sure that some other things are still working on this back end in case the world shift. Hello, COVID.
Exactly. Where you should, if you're a business in 2025, in the year of our Lord, you better have a robust presence online. I understand all those other things I said today, but if tomorrow I could not go into a store because they pulled everything from the shelves, like they're putting stuff on sale now, and there may be the possibility they're not looking to renew you. So if that's the case, what do you do then? Don't put all your eggs in a big box store basket. I'm sure they know this, and I know you don't want to hear this now, but it's also then not fair, because you didn't do that, to ask us to continue to shop in those places that have disrespected us so much, right? Just by you can say, oh, well, I don't want to hear the, oh, well, I'm looking at what they're doing now. It is extremely disrespectful, whether it's who you fund politically or whether it's not including people within the fabric and discourse of your business. It's disrespectful. So for now, you to see, why don't you just have me sit and be slapped day in and day out? Oh, well, they're only slapping you a little bit.
We know they already ran the numbers too. When this happened, they were already at the table. They had already run the numbers. They already knew what type of, when you think about, hey, and if we were online and looking at that, you talk about the algorithm. They already knew what the fallout, the expected fallout.
Oh yeah, they anticipated that.
They know it. They know.
We were the ones that were cut off guard. So here's the thing. We'll come back and tie that up neatly with next steps in a moment.